I can't speak for any state outside of Florida, South Carolina, or Georgia, but for at least these three states, we couldn't underwrite on this property for 90 days until after James acquired it. This all had to happen. This is a lot of trust from the builder. You can't even have a contract dated for 90 days after the builder officially acquired possession of the property.
But this is my house, Mommy. So when I asked Mr. Kringle for it, it is, I know it is.
Welcome to The Pursuit of Home, coming to you from New York City. This is real people buying real estate and their unique journey to get there. We share the tips, tricks, and frameworks to help you navigate the bumps in the road that you won't see on reality TV or social media, and which no one has talked about until now. These are the emotional, psychological, ethical, and even spiritual challenges you're more than likely to encounter yourself. Learn from experts who've been there and hang out with me, Scott Harris, your host, who's helped thousands of people buy homes in Manhattan over the last 2 decades. Welcome back to The Pursuit of Home. I'm Scott Harris. If you've ever thought about buying a property that needs work, but you don't really want to do the work, this episode is for you. You're going to want to hear this story. Today, we're joined by a fascinating couple, Tyler and Alyssa Gordon. At the height of the craziness of the market in the last year or so, they were able to make a bold decision to not only buy a property, but trust a third party to buy something, flip it, renovate it, sell it to them, all with the help of this man who made it happen, Matt Kelly, who's the team lead at the Matt Kelly Group in Greater Augusta, Georgia. They just got finished with the Masters, which maybe, I don't know if we'll talk about that, but Matt is also known as your mama's favorite realtor. I've known him for about 3 years. We met at a conference in Vegas, and we had nothing but G-rated fun together there. We spoke on a panel about social media, and I've gotten to hang out and speak to Matt a lot since then. But this is a slightly different format, but really a fun one because I've got an agent on one side. I've got you guys on the other side. We're going to unpack what this journey was like from the perspective of home buyers, not just the real estate agent, but both of you. So Tyler and Alyssa, thank you for being here.
Oh,
Thank you.
And Matt, thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
I want to let you all tell the story. Matt, maybe give us in a nutshell how long you've been helping people through this process, and maybe tee up the situation so that Tyler and Alyssa can talk about it.
I've been in the industry for 5 years now. I guess I'm a grizzled veteran, grizzled and disgruntled at this point. No, not at all. And I'd say about two, maybe 3 years ago. So I've helped a few of the Gordons now. There's a lot of Gordons in my SkySlow database. Scott, you may know a little bit about that program.
That's a CRM that agents use. So
it is. So yeah,
You got a handful of us that you've helped, that's for sure.
we do. And so they referred, of course, Tyler and Alyssa to me. And when we first met, we had some goals, and then things changed, and then Tyler was able to really find a really exciting role in his church. It's over at Abilene, correct?
Yeah, Abilene Baptist.
Really exciting role, and I'll let him go into that a little bit more. I won't spoil everything. And we were finally ready to go about a year ago, and we're faced with a really tough market, really tough property values, commute, schools, everything like that. And essentially what we did was we were able to work with an investor builder of ours in Columbia County, where they purchased acreage out there is tough because everyone thinks their acreage is worth $20,000 an acre. It seems it's like the boilerplate, and no matter where you're at, doesn't matter. It's $20,000 an acre. So the goal there was steep. And so we were able to find something off market, just leveraging some of our wholesale deals. We have wholesale contacts, investor contacts, and this property needed everything from all new subflooring, foundation work. It had 3,000 feet of water lines that had to be installed, and so it was a massive undertaking. And we were able to put some things together, put some numbers with the investor on the front end to be able to get us at a price point that the Gordons wanted to be able to purchase this home at, and so that everyone could be happy.
So I just want to make sure I'm hearing this as it. So the relationship this was where you're looking for properties, kind of, they're on the market. Hey, nothing's fitting the price range. And then all of a sudden, did you find the property and then introduce the developer, quote unquote, to it? Or did you talk to the builder developer and say, hey, I have buyers looking for this? He said, oh, I have this project. Would you be interested? Like what was the order of things?
My biggest enemy is my attention span. And I'm gonna flip this camera. I have what's called my big boards. And I'm not going to show them for too long because they've got all my good stuff on here, but I've got one here, then I've got all those right there. And I call those my big boards. When I say I'm putting in my big board, I mean it. And those are all names, people, ideas, and these are just like my really niche things. Like, if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath property that you want in Martinez for $280,000, I'm going to find you something fairly quickly. But if you need something like the Gordons that we know we may have 1 or 2 opportunities a year, I put those up so that when I'm in my office and I'm making my phone calls, I'm looking for these things constantly. And so we had some properties we were looking at. Nothing was quite a good fit. And they were on my big board. They've been on my big board for a little bit. And that's just really how it happened. I'm calling a lot of wholesalers will call me for my investor clients. I've got like 4 house flippers. I think 4 like really, really solid home flippers that I will push things out to. It's been pretty fun process for the most part. You run into some interesting situations.
I think Alyssa originally sent him the link,
I did,
and it was all beat up, 130,000. And what it was is, hey, you either need to get a conventional loan or cash, and we couldn't qualify for a conventional loan, and we certainly didn't have the cash. And it was literally months later, he goes, hey, or a month or so later, hey, I know somebody who's buying that property, and I think we can work something out.
You have a relationship with Matt because he's helped your family quite a lot.
People, yes.
So the trust there with Matt is there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And Matt's a bulldog. He'll go after it.
All of a sudden, you're introducing this other person who's going to be renovating the house. How did you structured the deal so that you didn't have to buy it until it was completely done? Is that how you?
Yeah. That was it. And honestly, I wish there was a little more negotiation in the process, but what we did is said, this is what our set point is. And this is what we want to make happen. And Matt made that happen. So
Scott, we had a very lengthy list of materials, and there's not a standard boilerplate contract for this. So really the best thing we felt we could do was we quite literally line item our expectations on materials, colors, manufacturers, boom, 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 boom. And we threw it all in a contract. We want these brown laminate vinyl plank flooring. We want these countertops. We want these fixtures, these colors, these finishes.
I even picked a specific kitchen sink.
Yep.
When you gave your list, did the builder go, I can't do this one, but I can do this? Did it get to that level of detail?
there was a few points, but that had more to do with like, can we widen up this space? He was like, if we do that, we might have to work out a foundational beam or something. So that might cost more or something like that. But
yeah, it was nothing that he said he couldn't do. It was, he gave us options and we were like, okay, yeah, we can scratch that off the list then.
What I'm hearing, and my jaw is, you don't see my jaw on the floor, but I'm kind of in shock here, that he bought the house for $130,000 and your budget was around $300,000. Does that sound right? Give or take, or maybe a little less?
250. That was our absolute max.
250 was the max. And you wanted a few acres. You wanted some acreage. So you were able, the house, most places were thinking $20,000 an acre and you got 5 acres plus the house, that leaves, my math is wrong, but that leaves like $20,000 to do a full renovation. How did the builder, is just a magician? This sounds amazing.
I don't know what his actual net profit was. He purchased the property for $130,000. He earmarked it was like $80,000 on this, and so his all-in was $210,000, $220,000, something like that. It wasn't his most lucrative project ever, especially with the water lines that had to be done. But when we had bringing in an end user definitely brought value to him. we didn't have. We were able to limit some marketing costs and things, the way they handled the commissions and stuff are handled in Georgia. So we were able to kind of save on those, and it just definitely came down to the fact I know where this guy lives.
So this is really you have this strong relationship with Tyler and Alyssa, and you have this strong relationship with the builder. So even if this isn't his, as you said, not his most lucrative deal, ultimately you can keep providing him buyers. You're going to continue to strengthen that relationship, and he can just like check this off. All right, we'll do this quickly, give it to the Gordons, and that'll be that. Reduce his uncertainty.
Yeah, since we've closed on this property, I've done 2 more deals with investor in question. So I see him a lot, and the idea is just, it's an economy of scale.
All right. So I want to shift into the last 4 months. You said this is right before Christmas of 2024. You agree to the terms of all this, Alyssa and Tyler, and now you're getting into the Christmas season. You're dealing with all of the family and all the other stuff. And how are you managing your stress level? You've never done a big project like this. How is that? Did you go drive over there every day and like poke in the windows? Like, how did you deal with that?
It's funny you say that. She's stressed about every little thing.
Oh my goodness. I was the one that Tyler was like, it's going to happen. Like, however it happens. I was like, no.
Well, from the very beginning, the way that it played out, for me, I just knew that God was using this to benefit our family. And God used Matt in a mighty way. He used the investor in a mighty way. And not to say he did it all just for us, but it worked out for everybody. And so that was kind of my sense going into it. Look, the Lord's going to use this to bless us. And if something happens, he's going to work it out. And she's like, oh my goodness, what about this? What about that?
I remember every Sunday after church, I would try to get Tyler to drive down to the property. I was like, Tyler, let's just drive down there and see the progress. And
the progress was real slow, by the way. We were really,
which was making me nervous.
Yeah, we were really hoping to be in by the end, or by December, really. And then by January, and then by February, our lease went out in February for our house.
Yeah. So we were like in limbo with our the house that we were renting, because we had to re-sign a lease come February or we had to move out. And so thankfully, it all worked out. But I was the one stressing every day for like 4 months.
We did finally move in.
Was Tyler? He sounds so calm, and I don't want to. I'm going to come back to Tyler for a second there, but was his calm also stressing you out?
Yeah, but that's our life.
Yeah, you got that on the head.
So it sounds like Tyler's got his faith on speed dial a little bit more, and you've got Matt on speed dial.
I was driving that crazy. Yes.
I want to add these 2 things, and the real estate professional will get a good chuckle out of this. We're dancing around the 90-day FHA rule here too.
Tell me more about that.
So I can't speak for any state outside of Florida, South Carolina, or Georgia, but for at least those 3 states, we couldn't underwrite on this property for 90 days until after James acquired it. So this all had to happen. This was a lot of trust between even you talking about the trust, even from the builder. We couldn't start underwriting on this property for 90 days you can't even have a contract dated for 90 days after the builder officially acquired possession of the property.
Meaning, so it was almost like you talked about the agreement that you made between Tyler, Alyssa, and the builder. In some sense, like the closing date is like a question mark, and they can't go and get a mortgage for almost till the very end of the process. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. So 90-day rule hit. And then I believe once we were 90 days out from the possession, we did about a 14-day contract. There was a contract, but then there wasn't a contract.
Right. This was almost all a handshake.
It was a real estate attorney's worst nightmare.
Well, I happen to have helped with a real estate transaction in Savannah, Matt. I called you and you were very helpful with that recently. And I found that the whole thing it felt like a handshake to me too. Like every deal, like this doesn't seem like much of a deal. So wait. So when Tyler and Alyssa, when you signed a contract, quote unquote, I'm using air quotes, did you actually give them any good faith money? Because it seemed like it was such a.
Didn't we do that before we actually signed the official contract? I think we did, or I can't remember, to be honest with you.
There was money down. There was a deposit with the builder that was made. We had to do a deposit with the builder.
Some people out there don't know that I'm originally from Louisiana. So I have a little bit of, maybe a little bit more of a sense of, hey, your word is oak and all of that good stuff. But like in New York, the New Yorker part of me is wondering what else could go wrong. The developer could probably find another deal. This was all based on good faith and goodwill to me.
I knew James, and I didn't know him personally, but when I found out that who we were getting the mortgage from, and I knew his pastor, and I knew what church he went to, I was like, this is going to work out great because we can hash this out together if we need to amongst brothers and sisters, before anything gets serious or falls apart. So
yeah, but our family also questioned what we were doing too, and we were like, this is our thing.
I want to talk about this a little bit. I mean, this, whether somebody goes to church and has those kinds of really strong ties that all, in a way will guarantee, hey, this person is going to be on their best behavior. You know, you have some sense, hey, you know, the behavior will be somewhere in this bounds from here to here. It's not going to be where somebody's going to really misbehave. I think everywhere you want to create the conditions where people act as they should, right? And it sounds like that was a big key to helping you sleep at night. Does that sound right?
Yes.
yeah, well, and even as a non-believer, when somebody has a reputation on the line, even that is something that you can be confident that they're not going to want to spoil, you know? It's like Matt's got a great reputation, so it certainly doesn't want somebody, not that we would, but, you know, being displeased with him, bashing him, and so forth and so on. So, or at least, you know, if something bad happened, they go on and tell the truth. Even that can hurt even a good person sometimes.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So I have a couple final questions for you guys. Is Matt still your mama's favorite realtor after all this?
Yeah, I don't know what happened to the voting there. I put my sign in the yard for that raffle. I didn't get a response, but I'm assuming somebody won. It wasn't me.
No, Matt will be the only realtor that we would recommend. 100%.
Okay, I love that. And if there's one big lesson, and by the way, Tyler and Alyssa, you could have different lessons, the two of you, each of you, but is there one lesson that you really take away that you share with friends, or that you've talked amongst, you know, between the two of you, that, you know, something you learned through this process?
You know, I kept telling him, just trust me. Just trust me. This is going to work out. Just trust me.
Tyler was out there installing fence posts before closing. He was all in. I said, Tyler, I'm going to tell you this. The old adage is, do not put money in something you don't know yet. He said, nope, it's happening. I'm putting out fence posts tomorrow morning. Let the builder know. I said, all right, sounds good.
Well, I think between Matt and Tyler, I knew it was going to happen, even though it didn't, you know, happen. Even though I was a worrywart the whole time, I think just between the two of them, we just knew it was going to happen.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, but my new neighbors, when I met them before we closed and bought the house, I was like, this is where the Lord wants me.
Yeah.
And so far, he's done nothing but confirm that since we've moved in. With a whole month now, we've been in, and it feels like we've been there forever. So it's home.
I want to end with this one question. I ask a lot of people this, you know, after all you've gone through, it sounds like a much shorter version of a renovation than we have here in New York. These things can take 9 months, 12 months, 2 years, who knows? What does home mean to you? And has that changed since you moved into your new house?
It has. Home is just comfort, and it's your safe place. And for the first time, we've been together, 14? We've been married,
How did you get that wrong? I'm supposed to get that wrong.
And of all the houses that we've been through together, this one just feels the most safe.
Yeah. For her, it's safety. For me, it's the land. At being away from cars that can potentially hit your kids in the driveway, or just the little things like growing your own food, backyard. All those things I've always wanted as a kid. And it's just kind of, the Lord just made it happen through Matt, of course. And he's great through the whole process. We appreciate him.
Yeah, this house checked off every single thing that we required in buying a house.
Oh, minus the square footage. It's only 1,000 square feet. Hey, that's something that probably a lot of your listeners will go, ooh, I don't know about that. But yeah, we make it home. It's 3 bedrooms. We have 3 kids, 2 girls. They share a bedroom, 1 boy. He has his own room, and everything's just worked out.
Yeah, I tell people all the time that we prayed very specifically on what we wanted for this house. And God's sense of humor is hilarious because he gave us everything, but we didn't specify how big we wanted the house.
Oh, and I'll leave you with this. One of those specific requests is, God, if the mortgage is over blank, 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 we can't do it. He made it $20 minus that.
I have no words. I love it so much. You ask and you shall receive. Tyler and Alyssa, thank you for being so open about this. This is really one of these conversations that I will always love. People out there really need to hear that they have to have a little bit more faith every day, and more than that, to also find a partner in a real estate agent who can help build your belief that that's going to all happen. So Tyler and Alyssa, thank you for being here. Matt, thank you so much for setting this up. And we'll make sure, Matt, we'll put you have so many funny, lighthearted videos on your social. We'll make sure that your social's in the show notes so people can laugh a little bit or a lot. I find myself, I don't like too much social media videos, but yours are my favorites. So thank you.
I appreciate it. And Tyler, let's thank y'all for coming on this. We've, Scott and I have been spending a few months really trying to nail down, some good stories. And then I'm just really appreciative of y'all agreeing to come on and do this. And Scott, thank you for thinking of me when it came to this.
Of course. All right, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Big thank you to Matt Kelly for joining us and providing some lighthearted discussion here. And a really huge thank you to Tyler and Alyssa Gordon for being so open-hearted and sharing their journey. What I really hope that you will take away from this is the power of having a vision and having faith that your home is out there and it's possible. That is what is going to help make this process much easier and help things come together for you. That's what we describe as the magnetic method, but obviously people are putting this idea that believing is seeing. They're putting that idea to work all across the country, and it can happen for you. It's not about seeing is believing. It's not about, I have to see the property and see tons of things. It's about creating this vision for what you want and then letting it come to you. And I really hope that this inspired you. I felt really good. By the way, I do want to mention Tyler. The reason why they were going through this whole process was because Tyler, his church is building a new campus very close to where they're living. So I just want to again say thank you to them for being here. If you're navigating your journey to home ownership, don't forget The Pursuit of Home, a real estate guide to achieving the American dream, is now available for pre-order on Kindle. In the book, I share strategies and stories and other actionable tips to help you make more informed, empowered decisions throughout your own home buying journey. Until next time, I'm Scott Harris. Thank you for listening and happy home hunting. That's it for this episode of The Pursuit of Home. I hope today's conversation gave you insight, clarity, and maybe even a new way to think about your own home search. If you enjoyed the episode, please take a moment to follow, rate, and review the show. It really helps us reach more people on their own journey to home ownership. The Pursuit of Home is proudly produced by Fame, the B2B podcast production agency. Find The Pursuit of Home on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you listen to podcasts. And if you want to connect, you can find me anytime on social media or at Magnetic. Until next time, happy home hunting.